Lost in Dragon Ball. Chapter 21, where the dawn breaks differently. From the ashes of annihilation, a new future rises, but it never forgets the fire. The world that shouldn't exist. It began with silence. A hush across creation, as if reality itself held its breath. Then came the wind. It swept across endless plains, newborn oceans, and cities still forming from the remnants of rewritten time. Mountains rose from flatlands in slow-motion convulsions. Stars blinked into existence like sleepy gods. The multiverse didn't collapse, it rebooted. And on one of these new Earths, Kael opened her eyes. She wasn't dead. Around her, the other survivor stirred, Trunks groaning as he sat up, Stillness meditating midair, Hunger stretching like a waking beast, and Timeless hunched forward, his body humming with residual chronal static. Kael stood, her body aching with unfamiliar clarity. "Is it over?" Trunks didn't answer. He was staring at the sky. It was morning. But not like any morning they knew. The colors shimmered in hues they'd never seen. No satellites. No signals. No signs of old gods or new tyrants. Stillness answered. "It's not over. It's just begun again." And then the grief settled in. Saitama was gone. Not just dead, erased. No grave. No echo. Not even a memory trace in the time stream. Kael clenched her fists. "He chose our world. Over his. Over himself," Timeless corrected quietly. Echo was silent. Her voice lost. Her last song still rippled faintly through the core of this new universe, its resonance woven into everything. Into hope. Into pain. The rebuild. They found shelter in a collapsed tower, half-formed, half-forgotten. It became the base for what they'd later call the rebuild. With no governments, no surviving galactic order, and a timeline stitched together from fractured realities, rebuilding civilization was like writing a new myth with broken tools. Trunks took leadership by quiet consent. He was the bridge between the dead past and this fragile future. He wielded the last shard of the multiverse sigil, not as a weapon, but as a key. Its power was almost gone, but it could still do one thing: stabilize. Kael formed a new resistance, not to fight, but to guide. Her soldiers laid down weapons, picked up tools. Stillness walked between cities that didn't yet exist, whispering calm into the hearts of people who had forgotten how to breathe. Timeless constructed temporal pylons, pillars that anchored the timeline to itself. One in each major continent, ensuring the fabric didn't fray. Hunger wandered. Sometimes protecting. Sometimes simply observing. They didn't always agree. They didn't need to. They had purpose. And in the heart of every action, they remembered Saitama. Not as a hero, but as the anchor point that chose to vanish so others could live. Scars that speak. A year passed, and the nightmares began. People reported dreams where they stood in cities made of bone, beneath skies that sang. A place where smiles bled, and laughter echoed like screams. Kael investigated. In the ruins of an unformed reality, she found something that shouldn't exist. A chunk of architecture from the Anomaly's realm, black marble streaked with red veins, humming faintly with dimensional guilt. Stillness warned. Something bled through. Trunks scanned the object. "The anomaly is gone, but his intent might have survived," Timeless agreed. "Intent echoes, especially when it never found closure." Echo, who hadn't spoken since the rebuild began, finally sang again. Her voice was fractured. Her eyes haunted. "The gate is not dead," she whispered. The air chilled. Hunger appeared that night, her skin marked with glyphs she claimed to have never seen before. "I went walking. Something followed me back." Vegeta returned too, from a distant exile of self-imposed shame. He stood silent for hours in the rebuilt resistance hall before saying anything. What you're building won't be enough. Kael looked up. Then help us make it better. He didn't respond. But he stayed. Children of the Echo. In a small village outside the central spire, a child was born. She glowed. Not metaphorically, literally. Her skin shimmered with the echo tone of Echo's last song. Her cries disrupted electronics. Her laughter created temporary distortions in gravity. Doctors were baffled. Mystics terrified. Scientists fascinated. She was the first of many. Dozens of children born in the new world came with anomalous resonance. Some bent light. Others dreamed the past. A boy in the southern wastes claimed to remember the smiling Anomaly's name. They called them Echoborn. Some feared them. Some worshipped them. Stillness insisted they were not gods. They are pressure points. Evidence the story still wants to write itself. Timeless theorized they were byproducts of the story collapse. Vessels not of power, but memory. Kael disagreed. They are the new protagonists. Hunger just smiled. Delicious. But no one could deny it. The world was changing. Again. And the gate had never really closed. Glimpses beyond. In the old hall beneath the spire, Shrunk stared into the last shard of the sigil. It no longer pulsed. But sometimes, when the room was quiet, it hummed. One night, he saw something. A reflection not his own. Saitama. Not whole. Not present. But watching. Then it was gone. He didn't tell the others. Echo, however, felt it. His story isn't over, she whispered. But he's gone, Kael replied. Gone doesn't mean ended. Stillness nodded. Nothing ends. It only echoes forward. A visitor without time. The visitor arrived without warning. A rift tore open above the resistance hall, and a figure dropped through, neither falling nor landing. Clad in robes of fractal fabric, skin made of clockwork spirals. He called himself Nox. I am from a future that no longer exists. I was erased when your world rebooted. But my purpose survived. Kael stood wary. Purpose? To warn you. Of what? Nox looked at the children playing outside. Of what happens when echoes start to sing on their own. Stillness stepped forward. Are they dangerous? Not yet, Nox replied. But every story, once started, demands resolution. If these Echoborn awaken to their origin, they will seek the source. Trunks narrowed his eyes. You mean the gate? Nox nodded. It's calling. And someone will answer. The monument. On the anniversary of Saitama's sacrifice, they built a monument. Not a statue. Not a shrine. A crater. They preserved the ground where he'd last stood, a ring of shattered earth and scorched air where his final punch cracked not just the Anomaly's smile, but the very structure of fate. At the center was a simple plaque. He didn't need to be the strongest, just the most stubborn. People came from across the world to sit in that crater, to listen, to remember. And sometimes, late at night, they swore they heard laughter. The quiet kind. The kind that said, I'm still here. To be continued.